My Billionaire Mom, Chapter 4. Hearing a sound from the front desk, Chuck was stunned to find that the two people hadn't left yet. Where are you going? Laura asked, her tone casual but sharp. To get something to eat, Chuck replied plainly. Eat? Laura scoffed inwardly. For trash like Chuck, he's probably craving cheap street food, even after staying in this luxury hotel. He'll never be anything more than low-class scum. She coughed lightly, then added with false sweetness, Chuck, I lent you money before. You haven't even properly thanked me yet, have you? Chuck was disgusted by her attitude, but still nodded calmly. Despite the fact that she had forced him to pay back double the amount he borrowed, $400 from an original $200, he couldn't deny that it had kept him from starving. You're right, thanking you is the least I should do, Laura sneered, her lips curling in amusement. My boyfriend and I haven't eaten yet. How about treating us to a meal at this hotel? Chuck didn't hesitate. Okay, he actually took the bait. Laura and her boyfriend, Conrad, exchanged knowing glances. They had dined here before. Even the most basic dishes came with a hefty price tag. Just a few plates could cost over $1,000. For 3 people? Easily $2,000 or more. And Chuck just agreed like it was nothing? He must really want to show off. Thanks. Let's go then, I'm starving, Laura smiled sweetly, latching onto Conrad's arm as they walked into the restaurant. Chuck followed silently. The three of them sat down at a window seat, and before long, a polite waiter came over. Good evening. We have a Friday special today. 3 meat dishes, 1 vegetarian, and 1 soup, all for $888. Would you like to consider that? The waiter asked, trying to be helpful, assuming they were budget-conscious students. Laura shook her head immediately. I don't want any set meal. Me neither, Conrad added. Laura turned to Chuck with a mischievous grin. Chuck, you wouldn't thank me with just a set meal, right? Chuck replied without blinking. Order whatever you like. Wow, really? Laura rolled her eyes mentally. How much do you actually have? And yet you're trying to act like a big shot? So fake. But out loud, she smiled sweetly and eagerly took the menu. She began ordering without restraint. 1, 2, 3, she ended up ordering 7 dishes, all of them premium, highly recommended specialties of the Triumph Hotel. The waiter's brows raised slightly. These dishes added up to $4,000 or $5,000. Looking at their age and appearance, he couldn't help but ask again, are you sure you want to order so much? Each dish here is quite large. Normally, 4 or 5 dishes are more than enough for 3 people. Laura glanced at Chuck with playful sarcasm. Just confirming, this is okay with you? Chuck nodded calmly. Yep, that's all. The waiter hesitated for a moment, glanced at Chuck with quiet sympathy, clearly thinking he'd been conned, but left with the order anyway. Soon, the food arrived. The table filled with expensive dishes, far more than 3 people could finish. Laura had only eaten a few pieces of beef when an idea struck her again. Chuck, she said, feigning innocence, I think I may have ordered too much. Since there's so much food, would you mind if I invited a few friends over? It'll be livelier that way. Chuck remained indifferent. Up to you. Laura smirked, still pretending to be generous. Huh? Since they'll be joining, we might as well order a few more dishes too, right? Chuck nodded again. Laura and Conrad exchanged amused glances before continuing their feast. Not long after, 2 stunning girls arrived with their boyfriends. Chuck recognized them, Moon Charisse and Tia Thomas. But the men were unfamiliar. They had come rushing over after hearing from Laura that some idiot was footing the bill at Triumph Hotel. When they saw that it was Chuck Cannon, their faces lit up with surprise and delight. Tia whispered to Laura, wait, isn't that Chuck? Does he even have money? Laura snorted. This idiot hit a stroke of luck and picked up some cash. Let's enjoy it before it runs out. The waiter returned, and the 4 newcomers ordered more dishes, again, costing $4,000 to $5,000. The total bill now exceeded $10,000. Laura was practically giddy with delight. Let's see how long he lasts before begging to split the bill, she thought. As everyone laughed and chatted, Chuck sat in silence, eating alone, completely ignored by the rest. After finishing most of his food, Chuck raised his hand and called the waiter over. The waiter came respectfully and said, Sir, your total bill is $9,302. He looked at Chuck's modest clothes, clearly wondering how he was going to pay for all this. Laura, Conrad, and the others were practically vibrating with excitement. Now the show begins. To their shock, Chuck calmly took out a thick stack of cash, $10,000. Laura's eyes widened in disbelief. He really did pick up a large amount of money, maybe even $20,000. Conrad and the others were fuming with jealousy. But still, they consoled themselves, he'd be broke by the end of tonight. Chuck counted out $3,000 and handed it over to the waiter. The waiter looked confused. Sir, this is only $3,000. The total is $9,302. Laura laughed mockingly. Yeah, Chuck. Don't try to skip out. It's over 9,000. Chuck responded with a calm tone. You lent me money, so it's only right I treat you. But, he turned his eyes toward the others. I don't even know who they are. Why would I pay for their meal?